Okay, if you're a developer who makes coding tutorials for YouTube, you know the struggle. You know the grind. The sheer amount of tedious, repetitive work that goes into making just one video is, well, it's a lot. But what if that entire painful production process could just be automated?
Right, let's just walk through the nightmare for a second. First, you have to write and debug the code, which is already a huge task. Then you have to manually record your screen where you know one tiny typo means you got to start the whole take over again. After that, you're sinking hours, maybe even days into editing, cutting out mistakes, fixing the timing, syncing everything up, and only then do you get to add your overlays and narration. It is an absolute mountain of work.
So this is the big question, isn't it? What if that same AI assistant that helps you write your code could also just take care of the entire video production part? What if it could give you back all those hours so you can focus on what you actually love doing, which is teaching?
Well, this huge shift is all thanks to something called Agentic AI. The best way to think about it is like this. You're no longer the carpenter, hammering every single nail yourself. Instead, you become the architect. You design the blueprint, and you hand it off to a team of really smart AI agents who handle all the heavy lifting for you. And this whole new way of working has a name that I think is just perfect: vibe coding. You literally just provide the vibe, the big idea, in plain English. You could say something like, build me a retro 3D spaceship game. And the AI agent takes that vibe and turns it into a real working application. It's kind of wild.
And you can really see that evolution right here. The old way had you stuck in the weeds, right? Obsessing over the how of every single line of code. But now, as the architect, your job is to focus on the what. You define the vision, you oversee the big picture, and you let your agents figure out the details. So, what's the tool that makes all of this a reality? It's a new platform from Google called Antigravity, and it was built from the ground up specifically for this new world, for you to act as that high-level software architect.
And people are already taking notice. I love this quote from ZDNet because it hits the nail on the head. Antigravity is all about real-world productivity, not just flashy AI hype. It's a practical tool for getting things done, and honestly, the results are, pretty astonishing.
So how does it actually work? Well, it all really stands on three core pillars. First, it's built on something every developer already knows and loves. Second, it gives you a mission control to manage your AI agents. And third, you're not locked into one ecosystem. You have the flexibility to choose your AI models.
Let's just talk about that first pillar for a second, the familiar foundation. Building Antigravity as a fork of VS Code was just a brilliant move. It means for most of us, there's basically no learning curve. You can open it up on day one and feel completely at home, even using the same plugins you already rely on. Okay, so now we get to the part that is an absolute total game changer for anybody creating YouTube tutorials. This is the feature that turns Antigravity into your own automated content engine. And it all comes down to one concept: visual artifacts.
So what are they? Basically, visual artifacts are proof that the AI agent did its job. It generates deliverables for you, you get things like task plans and screenshots, but the real crown jewel here is the dynamic browser recording. That's right, a video walkthrough of the agent actually building and testing its own work.
And this is the key thing to understand. The agent's job isn't over when it just spits out a chunk of code. Oh no, that's just the beginning.
Because the agent then automatically runs the app in a browser to make sure it works, and it records that entire process. What you get at the end is a perfect, polished video walkthrough of the final product. That whole tedious process of screen recording and editing, it's just gone. It does it for you.
And this is where it gets really practical. I mean, look at these use cases for your YouTube channel. You do a vibe coding demo where you ask the AI to build a game. Boom! You instantly have the gameplay footage. Making a video about a bug fix, you get a perfect before and after recording, zero extra effort required. This isn't just saving you time, it's giving you an endless supply of perfectly executed, high-quality B-roll for your content.
So, what this all points to is a future where teaching code is way less about the tedious mechanics and way more about creativity. You get to focus on what really matters, crafting amazing explanations and tackling bigger, more ambitious projects for your audience.
And just in case you're thinking this is all a cool gimmick, let me be clear. The AI driving this is seriously capable. Google's Gemini 3 Pro model scored a 76.2% on a benchmark that specifically tests an AI's ability to solve real-world software problems. So you've got a really powerful and reliable engine under the hood.
That power also completely flips the script on how you review code. Forget about painstakingly reading through every single line. Now you just watch the agent's video walkthrough. You see if it works. You can even leave comments directly on a screenshot to give feedback, kind of like you would in a Google Doc. It's just faster, more intuitive, and so much more efficient.
So I'll just leave you with this thought. When all the grunt work of building the code and recording the demo is handled for you by an AI, what does that free you up to do? You're not just a coder recording a screen anymore. You're an architect of ideas. You're an educator. So the real question is, what new, incredible frontiers will you finally have the time to explore and teach?